Welcome to Startup Tank, where Aussie startups get funding. Here, 6 select startups will pitch to active investors. This episode is powered by Talk and Vanta. Stay tuned to see which shark takes a bite of these select startups. Let's introduce the sharks.
Hi, I'm Andrew Cicutto, a partner at Archangel Ventures. We're a pre-seed specialist VC firm investing checks of between $250,000 and $500,000 in Australia's most ambitious founders.
Hi, I'm Liz from Tractor Ventures. We're a non-dilutive alternative capital provider. In the last 5 years, we've invested $130 million into 260 businesses across Australia and New Zealand. We specifically help businesses that are a little bit later stage, so making about $50K a month in revenue and more. If you're in that line, we'd love to chat.
I'm Rohit. I am co-founder and partner at Playbook Ventures. We invest into pre-seed and seed stage high-growth startups.
The startups that I'm going to be pitching today, we have 6 startups. Teacharo, Kiraa, Bhavira Technologies, Test Feed, Clearwater Wellness Co, and Keen Care. Let's introduce the first startup. Please put your hands together for Janet Moeller, founder of Teacharo.
Hi, I'm Janet, founder of Teacharo. We're raising $250,000 in safe notes to reduce teacher admin and keep them in the profession.
Teachers are now spending more than 50 hours per week in the classroom on their work, part of the strike that you were talking about. And up to 50% of teachers plan to leave the workforce in the next 5 years. So that was an actual teacher workflow that I got from an interview. So our solution at Teacharo is agents, because agents that in a different way than a voice recorder or a regular chatbot, agents can do work for teachers while teachers are working with students. So with dictations, teachers are able to tell it those things, and I'll show you afterward all the different notes and things that it's written. In comparison, our competitors are still requiring teachers to sit at their screens from start to finish. They're just starting from scratch, from start to finish. They don't have the voice first activation, and they're selling tools. They're not, and we are selling labor. And as much as the money, we are looking, which is a $250,000 raise, a safe note, but we're also looking for a partner in a mission to reduce teacher admin load so that wonderful teachers like my mother will stay in the profession.
Obviously quite a technical product. You kind of addressed it with the $5 million point. I'd love you just to spend 15 or 30 seconds talking about the 250K, because it's a bit less than what I was expecting when I got to that slide.
Yeah, well, we do have a little bit of runway. When we talk about my mother and this business in her honor, it's that's helped sustain us so far. But we're looking at $250,000 just to start to get our first 1,000 customers. The engineering and product has been done more or less for free between the 2 other co-founders. But we would like to go to more events and pay for booths and things. But so far, our CAC is 0 because I've been consulting and building trust with schools and also just working my network. The infrastructure and compliance has been a big one. Security in schools is huge. So we've been spending for safer technologies for school, keeping all the data here in Australia, making sure it's safe and good, and it's really just operations.
How does your tech adjust for kind of external noise and for security and privacy around what is being shared?
If it's a really loud place, that is something where they need to go off on their own, and they should be doing that anyway. We have a text feature, but it takes longer to text than it does to just say things. So we're trying to get teachers off the text. The other thing about one of our competitors, a learning management system, Compass, will let teachers do things on their phone, but they're taking their eyes off their students on the playground as they're doing it, which is not safe. So that allows them to keep their eyes and their ears on the playground while they're saying something if there's privacy.
Janet, great pitch. 2 minutes is tough to translate everything that you need across, but love your personal connection to the business and what you're building. Selling into this market is notoriously hard, especially at the price points that you sort of want for this to be really scalable. So just want to understand from you in terms of like the market opportunity, whether, even you sort of mentioning a grammar school picking you up, would public schools have the resources to pay, an appetite to pay something like this, for something like this at $229 per user? And then is there broader applications for you beyond schools with this product as well? Because I think you're building a really incredible piece of technology, and just curious whether you've kind of explored anything beyond schools.
All right, well, we'll start with our target market. The grammar school are actually coming in from a different angle. We have a Teacharo proposal which actually lets them make bespoke agents or change the agents, and they want that contextual control connected to Teacharo. And they can connect their own third-party APIs as long as they're responsible for those. So for what I found with large grammar schools and schools with tech teams, they like that complexity to be able to do it. Smaller schools just want the tool. As far as the other, we're getting a lot of salons and gyms and human care industries coming to us and saying, we don't like computers when we have what you have. So right now we're focusing on schools because that's our mission. It doesn't mean it can't go other places.
Yeah, like I said, great pitch. 2 minutes is way too difficult to kind of get into the weeds of the company. But like I said, I think the technology that you built is really interesting. I think for me personally, from an investment perspective, I think this would be a lot more interesting if there was the opportunity to sort of expand into different verticals. And I'm not surprised that you're getting sort of interest around those sort of areas. So I'd love to have a follow-up conversation to just find out and dig in a bit more and see if there's potential introductions and things like that we can make.
I'm with Rohit on this, so totally not my area of expertise, but the way in which you answered the questions, your analysis of the competitor landscape, your understanding of the problem space gives me a lot of confidence. And so I'd also love to offer a conversation and see who I can connect you to that could help you further.
All right.
Andrew? Are you free tomorrow?
That's a good sign.
That's a yes.
Actually, yes, I am.
I'd love to have another conversation. You pitched really well and it's a great idea.
Please welcome Errol, the founder of Kiraa AI.
Hi, I'm Errol Brandt, the founder of Kiraa AI. I'm raising $750K on a convertible note to unlock $10 million pipeline.
This is a $7.5 billion market for decision support within the manufacturing sector. And globally, it's $150 billion. So it's a massive amount of labour substitution that we can do with an AI tool. What I'm doing now is I'm raising capital to take this to market. We've got customers in market already, but I'm looking at raising a couple of $1 million to basically onboard a $10 million pipeline and to fix our enterprise scaling, things like Vanta to make all our compliance right, get our go-to-market, and also invest in marketing so people understand what we're trying to do.
I really love how you positioned the benefits of your product. Just because I'm less educated in the actual market, could you tell me exactly what the problem is that you're solving?
I think the main problem is actually you employ really smart people and you have them doing spreadsheets, the same spreadsheets that you like. So if I can unlock that capability, when I talk to customers, they don't want to get rid of people. They just want them to not work till 9 o'clock at night doing rubbish, right? So it's around unlocking capability more than removing headcount.
Cool, thank you.
Again, great pitch, Errol. Just curious about your traction. So you mentioned you already have a customer in place. We'd just love to understand a little bit more in terms of where you're at. What does your sort of average contract value look like? I mean, given you've got one customer.
So we start at $100K a year, so it's enterprise subscription. The idea is we've told everyone that we're basically selling, you've got a $1 million problem, we want to split that 3 to 1. So we've told them the price will be $250K a year, but we're working up to that as we develop the product with them.
I'd just love to understand how it actually works. So you've kind of spoken a bit about the benefits of kind of going from something that takes a long time to an hour.
Yep.
How does it actually work and get implemented?
Yeah, I'm using a different technique called causal method generation. So what I do is I generate a vast quantity of training data in advance. And so when the user asks a question, it's pulling off a knowledge base. So we answer questions in an instant because we're doing a totally different methodology to what everyone else is doing in the market.
I'm interested in interoperability. I imagine you're pulling data from a whole bunch of fragmented systems, and oftentimes the people maintaining those systems barely know how they work. So I'm interested in interoperability from the lens of how hard it will be to deploy, how long and how much effort it will be to deploy in these mid-market organisations, and then also how you think they will deploy it. Like, will they require, this is crucial to business operations, will it be a quarter or two of shadow deployment where it runs alongside and they compare it, or are you going to go in and rip out and replace, or just...
No, so we're really conscious about the security and the privacy side of it. So the sort of philosophy we have is always push. So customers always push data to us, and we provide them scripts that they can tailor, which meet our standards. So most of the configuration is done in the first setup. We are trying to get down to a 5-day onboarding, but generally, to be honest, it's the IT department is the bottleneck there. So it's their own resources which are the bottleneck, but we provided that stuff out of the box for them to configure relatively easily.
Could you paint me a picture of where that kind of $2 million gets you and the rough kind of terms that you're...
Yeah, so we're looking at 218 to a 10 million valuation, but what I'm doing in this range, I'm just doing the con note just to get us started, because I really want to make sure I get the right pre-seed investor for the board. So I want to have a little bit more time to make sure that we make the right sort of, there's a lot of culture and values that goes in not just ripping out headcount. I really want to make sure we do this in a very sustainable and in the right way as well.
And in terms of the competitor landscape, and particularly in the US, how do you compare? How easy do you think it would be to actually penetrate? Is it really a like-for-like market?
US, well, yeah, I'm not going to tell you there's no competitors because that's not true, but I will say that we're probably first to market on a facial vector generation algorithm. But what I am competing with is vibe coders and IT departments who think they can do it themselves, which is great, except there's a whole bunch of reasons that doesn't work very well. So probably the traditional competitor you would think of is Power BI and Tableau and dashboards, but those things are really looking, they tell you what happened, they don't tell you what to do about it. So there's a market education that we need to prove that we're not the same as everyone else. But I see this as an emerging category that no one is yet playing in at all. And certainly not in facial vector generation.
I have a question on where the world's moving in terms of ERPs. It's like almost stateless ERPs. Like, how do you see your product fitting into that new world?
Yeah, I've done a video on YouTube about my view on the monolithic ERP. I was part of Nestlé's $7 billion implementation of SAP, and I'll tell you right now, I don't think the monolithic ERP is going to survive. I think businesses need to be nimble. It's okay for businesses to have different ERPs, but you've got to be able to aggregate that together. So my platform provides a place where that analytics can take place. Doesn't matter where it comes from, but the CEO can just go to one source of truth, ask Kiraa a question and get a sensible answer.
You mentioned there's no sort of direct competitors at the moment, but obviously, as we kind of see when there's a new category or sort of new companies taking off, there's sort of fast followers off the back of that. What do you think your moat is for the business?
So we've written the patented algorithm. So just to bore you with some numbers, if you look at generating an analytics through Google Gemini, it's going to cost you about 40 cents per million words. We're sub 1 cent. So I've got economies of scale that no one else can compete because I'm doing it on device.
So again, what's really interesting about Tractor is we've got 260 portfolio companies, all of whom are kind of Series A and above. I imagine that in that cohort, there would be plenty of businesses that could become clients or a distribution network for you. Really love your idea, a little bit early for us, but also the way in which you've framed the benefits of the product is really interesting to me. So I'd love to have a conversation and see who I can connect you with.
Yes.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'd love to continue the conversation as well. I think, you obviously built a product that's technically superior. So most of my questions will be around the go-to-market and that revenue in the US.
YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, as someone in content, definitely appreciate what you're kind of doing on the YouTube side of things. But broadly, I think you're a great founder. I think obviously a ton of industry expertise that you're sort of bringing to this, which is really interesting. We'd love to chat and find out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Errol. It was lovely knowing. So let's welcome Sunil from Bhavira Technology.
So hello everyone, myself Dr. Sunil. I'm a founder and director of Bhavira Technology, and we are looking here for $500,000 for 10% equity. Thank you.
So what we are doing, we are fabricating materials from the EPS waste. So this is the EPS waste, and we are fabricating these electrodes. And this electrode used for the recovery of the metals from the mining waste. And we have expertise in the material science as well as electrochemistry. And I have been more than 10 countries, so I have collaboration in different countries. So I can sell the products in all over world as well. So that is things I'm doing. And I would like to thank RMIT activators and RMIT universities as well as CSR India and my PhD supervisor who trained me for the fabrication of the electrodes. And I complete my PhD, and during my PhD also I fabricate different types of the electrodes and use for the electrochemical sensors and mining also. So thank you so much, really appreciate it.
Sunil, this sounds really interesting. I want to learn a lot more. Can you tell me what this does and who buys it?
Oh, good. So think is like you wear like a ring.
Yeah.
That is from the metal. So maybe like silver ring.
Yeah.
And this is the metal, and that can work as an electrode as well.
Okay.
So we can replace that type of the electrode just like to the industry. Industry are using iron-based electrodes.
Yeah.
Metal-based electrodes. We can use this electrode. This one is cheaper.
Okay.
This is like $30.
Can I step in here? I just want to explain one thing, that he uses a thermocol. So this electrode that he's built is a sustainable electrode, whereas the other electrodes that are present in the market are not sustainable. So he's taking the waste, which is thermocol specifically, runs his formulation that he has, makes it an electrode. Additionally to that, what he does is, his electrode, why it's better than the others in the market, there are not many, there are a few in the market, which is patented technology. His is in process of patent. It can be used in mining industry to remove all the metals. Gold is one, there are other mining industries as well. Biggest problem is that rust happens out there. When rust happens, all the metal that's there, then again they have to run another process. But what he's built, it avoids the rust. Second, it also does water purification. So obviously in mining, that's the water purification process. But two, if there are dams or there are any water bodies that require water purification, his electrode can also remove metal from it. For example, in a river, you by mistake broke a thermometer. Mercury goes up. When you purify it, usually these kind of metals do not come out. But with the formulation that Dr. Sunil has built out here, his electrode can remove all the metal. So there is a better chance of water purification. Then the others, as far as my knowledge, he'll be better to correct me, there are only 2 or 3 in the market, electrodes like this, that are patented. His would be another one. So that the market of this is really, really big.
Well, it sounds like you've built an amazing bit of technology. I'm just curious about one thing that you said, which was you're going to raise the capital to then go and talk to potential customers. Why do you need the capital to go and talk to potential customers?
Yeah, so the thing is that we just like validated in the lab scale, and we want to do pilot testing. So for the pilot testing and research laboratory, and we started the business. So that's why we need the funding.
Can I add to that what you have? Because sorry, I have a lot of knowledge of this. That he has spoken to a potential mining company. This electrode sells on a 100 square centimeter basis. That company requires 5,000 square centimeters, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
That's what they require. Now, the money that he wants is to do more research, build a manufacturing unit, be able to produce it 5,000 centimeters square, to be able to fulfill that requirement that mining company that he's spoken to. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Yes.
So my question would be if you've got one, why not more? Because again, you want a market that's bigger than one.
Yep.
And just the more proof points that you've got, the more capital, you can just use the capital a little bit more efficiently. So just from an investor perspective, my questions would be, why go about this way? And there's a lot more risk that you're putting on place from an investor perspective for them to take a punt on this, versus you're able to mitigate some of the risk by saying, instead of just one pilot customer that's asked for 5,000, we've now got 3, 4, 5, 10 potential pilots that have done this, and then you're kind of proving that demand ahead of time without necessarily needing to pursue it, if that makes sense.
So but think about if one per plant require like 5,200 centimeters square, and then like per day, if we can sell like 500, like 50 electrodes area, so then we can generate like 1,500 only one plant. And if we can do it with like 2-3 plants, then it's easily like we can do millions of revenue of the companies. As I check with that literature. So yeah.
So I think the point Rohit is making is, as investors, we'd listen and be even more interested if you said, hey, we've got a list of 5 companies who want our product, rather than only one company, because for us, it means our capital there's more risk for us, because right now there's one, and if that one gets another provider or changes their mind, or there's some kind of world geopolitical influence that changes their buying behavior, then the whole thing is unsupported. But if you've got a couple, then we can say, okay, even if one doesn't work out, there are 2 or 3 others that could still be interested. I also think it's really interesting, the 5,000 units or 5,000 centimeters or whatever. If you need the capital specifically for such a big order, is it possible to find a similar business that needs a smaller order, and therefore you take less capital in, deliver on a smaller project, and then prove that there is interest and traction, and then go to the bigger one? That might also help you not to give up too much of the business right from the start in terms of equity.
Yeah. So thing is, like, I contacted more than 5 companies.
Yeah.
But I started from the 2 of the companies. I got the feedback, and they told me, yes, we want that type of the electrode.
I would say well done without the presentation slides as well. It's difficult for it to understand, but luckily the investors have the slides and Andrew didn't get to ask his questions. But let's move directly to the outcome. Rohit, I'm going to start with you.
So always tough pitching deeply technical products in general, let alone when you've got 2 minutes in hand. So, I would personally, like I said earlier, just be a lot more interested if you had more customers in place. Happy to meet up and see if there's potential introductions or people within my network that I can introduce to help accelerate that if that's of interest. So happy to stay in touch. I would just say, like, right now is probably too many question marks for me to say yes, but happy to keep chatting.
Liz.
This one, I'm going to say I'm out, not because of anything you said. I really love what you're building. It sounds really interesting. And I really love the complexity of the systems of what you're taking, like using waste, delivering value at scale. That's incredible, right? And delivering value in numerous ways. It's totally not my area of expertise, and I don't have anyone that I'm aware of in my network that would be super valuable to you. So therefore, I'm out.
I am not au fait with this type of technology at all. I think Rohit's point around the go-to-market is the one that's also similar to me. So I'll be really interested in meeting again when you have a more scalable go-to-market plan. Or alternatively, I reckon you could sway me with one customer if that customer wants to invest.
Yes, okay, interesting plot. But round of applause for Sunil.